Hello, this is a long overdue update, as all my updates are, but it's also a very special one because it's now July 2023, which is 7 years since I was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer. So stage 4 means terminal, and the prognosis was very bad. Prognosis means like how long you're going to live. And when I looked into data at the time in 2016 in the UK, the average survival for someone in my situation was average survival was 7 to 9 months, which is not very long. That was using data from that time. Of course, now we can look back at data from 2016 onwards. So instead of like the data I was looking at would have been like 2011 to 2016. It's called 5-year survival data. So we can now look back at 2016, and people in my position, were surviving on average 15 months, but with very few outliers. So very, very few kind of exceptions where people live for years. But for various reasons, I am in the 0.01% survivor group. Still impossible to believe, but I'm still here. This is a long overdue update. So the first thing I have to say is thank you so much for all the messages of concern and support, and also the donations, the donations make such a difference because the donations allow me to focus on helping other people with cancer, and the vast majority of those people are people with stage 4 cancer, which currently is considered terminal. So your donations make a huge difference because it allows me to put time, effort, and energy, and money, and attention into helping out other cancer patients. In fact, one of the things I've just started a couple of weeks ago is a new series of videos for people who are kind of completely new to cancer. When you're forced into the world of cancer as a non-medical person, there are lots of medical terms you need to understand. There's a lot you have to do. Just lots and lots and lots and lots of tasks. It's very overwhelming. It's extremely expensive. It's emotionally draining. And I think more than, almost anything else, it's incredibly confusing. Talking to different specialists, getting different opinions, hearing things from other patients, some of which are true, most of which are not true, reading nonsense on the internet. So the series of videos I've just started, I've done I think 30 so far, published 20 of them. So they're coming out kind of 1 or 2 a day, and I'm doing a series of 100, and each one is just answering a question that a cancer patient would have. Some are kind of general medical things, but that have a big impact to cancer patients. So things like understanding blood tests, understanding the different scans like MRI scans and PET scans and PET CT scans and enhanced CT scans and that kind of thing. Understanding about the different kinds of radiotherapy, different kinds of immunotherapy, different kinds of surgery, this sort of thing. And of course, stuff about just how to cope. who can you turn to for useful, reliable information? So that's on my other YouTube channel, which is called Make Cancer History. And also you could see those videos as well going to makecancerhistory.jp. So either look at my other YouTube channel, which is just Make Cancer History, or go to the website makecancerhistory.jp, and you click on news and you'll see all the videos as they're published there. If you know anyone who is new to the cancer world, then please share those videos with them, because it helps them, and it helps other people as well because of how the YouTube algorithm works. The videos are all published on YouTube, and to some extent we have to feed the monster that is the YouTube algorithm. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's been happening in my life, and where I am at the moment, health-wise. So I got really sick a few months ago. So I was really sick in April. I don't really know what's wrong. I saw various specialists. I had various tests. Not really sure what the problem was. So basically, beginning of April, like the first day of April, I started getting really bad, like upset stomach, and that continued solidly for 4 weeks, and it was really bad. I was kind of housebound essentially most of the time. It was interfering with sleeping. Now, usually when you have an upset stomach, that's going to be a virus or a bacterial infection. Of course, with cancer patients, it can be, very often related to treatment. Now, in my case, those were not the causes. So there was no symptom of bacterial infection or viral infection. Did my blood test, did the bacteria test, like testing the gut bacteria, had the colonoscopy to see if there was any physical damage, so checking the intestines with a camera to see if there was something there. Nothing. And I went to gastroenterologists, of course, talked a lot with my oncologist, talked with my immunotherapist, but I was told that it was a mystery thing, and is relatively common. So it seemed to be a problem with the parasympathetic nervous system, which is one of the 3 parts of your autonomic nervous system. So the autonomic nervous system controls like keeping you alive and breathing, heartbeat, digestion, that kind of thing. And there are lots of nerve pathways, obviously, lots of like reflexes. So in particular, maybe the one I was having difficulty with is the gastrocolic reflex, which is essentially when I think it's triggered by like chewing food, maybe. So when you chew food, it like within 15 minutes there's a nerve, like a signal goes to your intestines to get your intestines working, to start up the peristalsis. So there was maybe something was causing extreme regular triggering of that reflex, and making me very, very unwell. So that was really grim, and because I didn't know what was wrong, I mean, one of the first things was to stop all medicines, to see, was it caused by, for example, hay fever medicine, because April was hay fever season in Japan. Hay fever here is very, very extreme because of the sugi, which is a Japanese cedar. It's a tree that was planted a lot in Japan, far too much, and it makes everyone sick. And the government won't do anything about it because the government won't. Um, Possibly, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you may say that there's a massive industry in Japan related to hay fever. That could be the reason. So yeah, sugi is a Japanese cedar tree. Um, not very, not very good for Japan, but very good for construction, which is why it was so important in like 1950s maybe. It's probably the biggest planting time. Yeah, 1930s and 1950s. And so yeah, I had to stop every drug. And I was taking a drug called TS1 to keep cancer under control. So I had to stop that because that in itself also causes bad gastrointestinal issues. So as a result of all this, yeah, anyway, I was sick for a while. I'm fine now, but recent scan result was not great. Not bad, but yeah, recent CT scan was not fantastic. So I've had to increase the TS1 dose by 25%. I'm still on like lowish dose. For someone my size, I would be on like 100 milligrams a day of TS1 for 2 weeks, then six days off. And I'd gone down to and it's yeah, sorry, it'd be on 120, and I'd gone right down to 80 and then stopped completely. So now I'm 100 milligrams of TS1, but the side effects are non-linear with the dose, which basically means as the dose increases, the side effects don't increase by that amount, but can increase by a lot more. And some side effects, it seems that yeah, it's just like a threshold. So with 80 milligrams of TS1, I didn't really notice anything with my hands and feet, just completely fine. With 100 milligrams, I get the hand-foot syndrome that's well known to cancer patients everywhere because lots of chemos cause damage to your like peripheral nerves and damage to the nerve endings in your hands and feet. So yeah, so that's not fun. And as I mentioned before, TS1 is not nice on your intestines. I mean, chemotherapy by definition damages your intestines because your intestines are like the lining of the GI tract from like one end of the body to the other. The cells in the lining are always being scraped off and replaced when you're kind of eating. So yeah, chemo attacks that because chemo attacks growing, replenishing cells. Also, you get skin side effects with chemo, and TS1 is no exception. And again, I found like with the 80 milligram dose, I didn't really notice any skin issues at all. And I was thinking like, well, I didn't think, oh, this is because of low dose. I thought like, oh, I'm taking good care of my skin, isn't this great? And now I've gone back up to 100 milligrams, so getting skin issues again, which isn't fun. So yeah, that's the joy of TS1. I think TS1 maybe stands for titanium silicate, something like that. It's one of the many toxic drugs that cancer patients get to enjoy. Yeah, so that's the bad stuff. Everything else is pretty good. I've recently started getting fit and healthy again, which is really nice after being sick for quite a while. So that's been really good and really I know I look like 100 years old, but I am only, I forget what I am, but maybe 44, something like that. And yeah, I'm still just about the age where your body responds really quickly to exercise. So it's kind of amazing. Like I get back into exercise and um, it's noticeable, like within a couple of weeks, really. And that's really good at the moment because the weather in Japan is getting progressively more brutal. Um, it's not hot, like kind of low 30 degrees most days, but which sounds fine. But with the incredible humidity, it's yeah, any kind of physical activity in the daytime, like you just look like you've had a shower after like half an hour or something. Um, yeah, since I've got better, I've been back in the dojo twice a week, which is really good. And the dojo I go to is just incredible, and I'm meeting um, lots of great people through that, which yeah, is just incredible. Making new friends, and one of the really good things is I sometimes make friends who hardly speak any English, which forces me to use my terrible Japanese. So that's kind of cool. Um, yeah, so that's probably about it for this update. The big thing is thank you for the very kind messages on Facebook and the emails and stuff, and the donations. Yeah, the messages and donations basically keep me going. Uh, and I, yeah, really appreciate your support and your interest. Um, so yeah, under this video you'll see the link to donate if you want to help out. And also I'll put the link to the other video series. I think it's just the video series. It's just called like cancer questions, but yeah, the aim is to do 100 cancer questions, of which I've recorded 30 so far, 20 already published. So I set them to like publish automatically once a day. And yeah, so please enjoy those if you're interested. Share them if you're not, or if you are interested, you can share them anyway. And yeah, thank you so much for everything. 7 years. It's just crazy. I just yeah, I never thought that I'd be here. Um, yeah, there were times when it looked like yeah, being around for a few months would be a real achievement. And 7 years has passed, and thanks to you, um, I've done lots of stuff in the 7 years, which has been really good for me. But also, I've been able to help out quite a few people directly and indirectly. Um, yeah, like most days, I'll get messages from cancer patients asking for help. I don't give any medical advice because I'm not a doctor, um, but asking for kind of logistical information about how to access new treatments, that kind of thing, or just asking for emotional support. I'm not sure why you'd ask me, because yeah, I'm probably not the person to ask for that. Although I have been through a lot of thoroughly unpleasant stuff over the 7 years, so at least I can empathize with what people are going through. And recently, yeah, I'm still helping a lot of patients come to Japan for treatment for immunotherapy that they can't really get elsewhere, and that sort of just started really end of last year. So for the 2 years of COVID, Japanese hospitals and clinics just couldn't really take international patients. So now, because because of the way that immunotherapy works, it's not unusual to get like delayed results or that kind of thing, or kind of, yeah, results that like ramp up over time, or like there are lots of weird patterns. There seems to be a very strong memory effect with the Japanese immunotherapy, which means like your immune system learns to recognize cancer cells in a way that's, yeah, not common with other immunotherapies, because the one in Japan is uses a lot of NK cells. So yeah, it's a very long-winded way of saying, because it's been like 7 or 8 months since those first patients were coming over, who had kind of come across me online, got in contact, and I've been like, yeah, helping people come over. I'm still, yeah, hearing from those like original patients who are doing so much better than their oncologists were predicting. So that's kind of a really lovely feeling when I get these messages, someone saying like, I went in for a scan and there was shrinkage in all the tumours, and the oncologist was kind of saying how odd it was, and or there's been quite a few patients who had a recurrence, so when like the cancer appears again, and then have got back to what's called NED, no evidence of disease, and that's really quite unusual for stage 4 patients. Yeah, so so that's really heartwarming. It's also very interesting hearing about the oncologist reactions. For some reason, the Australian oncologists seem to be a lot more open-minded than the UK ones. So yeah, the Australian oncologists tend to say very positive things about going abroad for cutting-edge treatment. UK ones, not so much. But yeah, that is a maybe cultural difference and a problem with the institutionalized, pick an adjective carefully, stupidity, let's say, institutionalized stupidity of the NHS, where you have very, very smart people doing stuff in a very, very stupid context, with the money in all the wrong places, and unsurprisingly, you get very, very poor results, particularly for cancer care. Anyway, bit of a digression that. But yeah, thanks to your help, financial help, and also all the encouragement, I'm still helping lots of international patients get over to Japan for immunotherapy, and still the majority are getting good results. It seems it's always hard to tell, because one of the key things is have multiple cancer treatments at the same time. That's one of the 4 pillars of doing well with cancer, of which I've spoken many, many times in previous videos. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you for the kind messages, the emails, the messages through Facebook. Thank you for the donations. The donations allow me to help other cancer patients. It's that simple. I use my own money to help other cancer patients, and I don't have much of my own money, so your donations help a lot. Thanks a lot, and another video update soon. I shall try my best soon. Okay, thanks again.